Good afternoon, everyone. Are folks able to see the agenda okay?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Perfect. Great. So again, I'm Talia O'Brien. I'm taking over as the mayor's office staffer from Stephanie. So this is my first go around here. So I appreciate your grace, but hopefully we can do everything, pretty smoothly. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll get started with roll call. Deborah Gross, Nicole Turney,
Here.
Avery Hart,
Here.
Devin Taliaferro,
Here.
Terry Minor Spencer,
Here.
Julian McLean,
Here.
Rachel Shepard,
Here.
Crystal Wamalua, and Audra Mitchell.
Here.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And then we'll move on to approval of the February minutes. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second.
Moving into public comment, I received no public comment inquiries for this week or for this month. So we can move right into special committee reports. So hopefully folks had a chance to look at the email that I sent earlier. I was looking back through my email inbox and I couldn't find an actual link to the survey. So I'm not sure, Stephanie may have sent that out and I couldn't find it or something, but I just wanted to recirculate it so everyone had their eyes on it. I know the commission voted last month to approve the content. I was still, getting my feet wet with this and trying to grasp the intention of the survey and all the information that was passed on to me. So apologies for not bringing this up last month before the official vote happened. But some of my recommendations that we're looking at, that I would like to look at today, they shouldn't affect the content so much of the survey or like the structural change for the questions. But I just think that they might be beneficial to add that added clarity for departments to be as specific as possible in what we're asking for folks. In my experience with data collection specifically, it can kind of be all over the place as to what individual departments are actually collecting. So I think if we can get some more clarity as a commission of what we're actually looking for, and then pass that on to the departments as much as we can, that would yield better results when we're looking at the responses from these. So I haven't sent out the survey yet, but after today's meeting, I have some draft email language to send out to departments, which I'm happy to share with you as well. I think it would be nice to just have like all of our eyes on the same information and make sure that the way that I'm distributing the survey is how we would like to present the commission in this process and roll it out the best it can be from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think the three and there was another one on there that was very important. I had wrote it down and I was trying to find my notes. But I think three taps into what we really, what we're really looking for. And there was another one.
Yeah, so the questions are that I added these suggestions to are 3, 5, and 6. So you can see here, the italicized text is what I'm suggesting that we add.
Yeah.
But it's all just examples, and if there's other suggestions to what we should be doing, please feel free to chime in.
The examples definitely give the departments a better idea of what we're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good with all of these indicators, or do we want to make the list smaller?
I think that's a good number. That's a good list.
Okay. Perfect.
I agree. I like the list right now.
Okay, great.
I agree as well.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that feedback. And then I also just wanted to talk about question 5 some more as well. To me right now, this reads as every department answering with the entire citywide demographics, since like every department technically serves every area of the city. I think, and maybe it's someone can jump in. I think maybe the intention of this is to build off of question 4 of like the demographic breakdown of the folks accessing the programs offered by departments. But I just want to confirm the intention of question 5.
If I'm not mistaken, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that like the way I read that was sort of that intention of, when it's served by your departments, it kind of like, and probably updating that language to be like by programs within your departments, because I'm sure there would be a difference of, the girls fire camp is going to have different demographics than, another program within, parks or something like that. So, yeah, I feel like if there's if a change in wording there makes it clear that we're looking sort of like, from a program aspect instead of the department as a whole, that would make sense.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then this would be not, it might be not applicable to like every department, right? So like legal or finance or law, or not public facing departments so much, but more so for departments that have public's programming. Is that correct?
Yes.
I would just be interested to know which of the public programs are asking for demographic information when they're serving the public, like if they're collecting it, how they're collecting it.
Well, that is a great question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think this survey will reveal that information, because that's kind of like what I was thinking too. I know in my previous experience, it's very hit or miss what data people are collecting. And usually, unless they have like a data person on their team, and unless someone tells them, please collect this information, they're probably not reporting on all of that. But we'll see. We'll see. And I guess we can always send out iterations of the survey based on the responses that we get if we need to rethink our approach here as well. Okay. So for number 6, in addition to the demographic indicators, I added routinely collaborate. So does your department routinely collaborate with any organizations? We can keep it as collaborate, but I think it could get, the list could get very long of multiple organizations that departments might interact with, versus like the ones where most of our resources are pulled together with specific routine organizations. So how do you all feel about that?
We can reword it. I mean, when you ask, let me be clear when we're asking. I remember this question, but when we're asking, does your department routinely collaborate with any organizations? Break that down for me.
I feel like we wanted to know what organizations like the departments we're working with from like a community point.
Okay. I remember, I just don't, yeah, okay.
Like if there's anybody that works with like, if for example, like One Hood is the one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. If anyone works directly with like a community based,
Mm-hmm.
or I feel like that's what that conversation had kind of been leaning towards, but I really don't remember.
Okay. I was thinking towards that too, but I was just like you, I was don't really remember. I think that could be more Pacific, number six, because that can go multiple ways. That question.
I almost just wonder if asking for the name of the organization and then we can figure out, I mean, put less of the burden on them, I guess, to figure
Yeah.
out like I don't want them to take a guess as to someone's gender identity or how they identify. So it might be better for us to just identify those organizations and then do the follow-up ourselves.
Yeah,
I agree with Rachel on that.
me
Yeah, I
too.
do too.
Okay, great. So we can reword this. And do we want to keep it as routinely collaborate or just like any level of collaboration?
Any level.
I would say honestly any level, because it would just be nice to know if there's any organizations that like we just honestly just don't know of.
I agree.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll change it to, does your department collaborate with any organizations? And we'll strike all, like the second part for demographics, right?
Like community organizations.
Yeah, just your department. Change it in real time. Okay.
I feel like we might also want to add in like, if so, what?
You took the
Like,
words
can you
out my
please
mouth,
name
baby.
them?
You took the words out my mouth.
We use list. I can work with.
Yeah.
Okay. I can maybe want to think about that wording a little bit more, but yes, great idea. Okay.
That looks pretty good.
And then I adjusted 7 slightly as well. So similarly, I just wanted to clarify that we are referring to any disparities or barriers to accessing the services that departments deploy. Is that true? Is it just like what type of barriers residents encounter, or are we also looking at more of like the personnel side of how departments are operating?
I mean, I think it would depend on the department, so that can go both ways. That can be an and or.
Okay.
I'd be interested in both, what, the struggles they're having internally to grant access. And then also if they're aware of any pressure points for access that have been brought to their attention.
Okay. And Devin, I might tag you in here. Should we be concerned with like any HR policies asking departments for that information? I'm just honestly not sure. And I could look into it if you don't have the answer.
It might just be hard to get a straight answer without people being able to stay anonymous for the internal pressure points. Because if they're struggling internally, they may not be willing to report it that way.
Yeah.
Especially depending on who's answering the survey.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'll try to I'll try to drill that one down some more as well and send an updated link to the survey once I think through those questions more, just to get everyone's eyes on them as well. I guess maybe we should consider voting again, like as an amending the content of the surveys, since we're making some more changes, like that a little bit more substantive than I initially thought. Would you all be comfortable doing that now with the amendments that I will make, or do you want to wait until next month to approve after seeing the final version?
We could vote, but I think eight should have office and residence or residence. That would be for what you need to make your services or programs more equitable for residents. Okay, no, okay. I some of them need to be reworded though.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty confusing.
I think if we're working on it, I think if we can vote on it today, just because like it's already March, you know?
Yeah.
We have time, but
yeah, I agree.
Just want to make sure I heard that correctly. So you're suggesting that we vote on it and make the changes quickly so we can send out?
yes, that's what I would propose.
Okay, perfect. Are there any
I second
other questions that folks think need to be improved specifically before we vote? Just so I have my marching orders here.
Hi, this is
Hey.
Councilwoman Gross. I haven't seen you all for a while. Appreciate it. If I'm trying to follow along like on two screens, I apologize. I can barely read what's on my screen that I'm looking at you on. If I had a bigger monitor, I could actually read your sharing screen. So I'm also looking at my phone. When we're asking for like age and demographic data, we don't know, like every single department could be responding in a different format, right? Like just age range, for example, like, you know, we serve people under 18, but another department might be like, well, we serve people, you know, under 15 or something like that. Like it's going to be hard to put together findings when the kind of numbers-based answers that we want are asked in an open-ended question way. So is this going to be the actual text that they're sent? Yeah. I feel like, you know, like when you are like, that's like the US Census is a great example. Like so that they can compare information from every single census tract, right? They're like, are you between the ages of like 0 and 5, 6 and 10 or whatever? Like, so you can click off boxes. For if we really want to be able to compare apples to apples, we're going to have to force some of them into boxes so that we can compare the boxes to each other, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so even if you're like, how many people do you have in your department, like who are, I don't know, you know, like by age range or something like that, it'd be easier for them to answer if their age ranges. And then if they give you numbers, like you might also want to know like how many total people are in the department. So, or else how are you going to create a percentage?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a great point.
Like this department serves like 5 old women or something in the public, you know, and what's old to one department may be not old to another one. Like you just don't know what you're going to get back unless we give it. And then also like, that might be 100% of the people they serve in that program, or is it 1% of the people they serve in that program? You don't know that unless you know the totals as well.
True. That's a good point.
Again, I'm trying to follow in here. I apologize. I mean, you did send it in advance too, and I looked at it, but now I can't remember it all exactly.
Yeah, no problem. Those were great, great points. Yeah, I do think it's necessary to add how many people are in your department as the third question, and then think about how to make the demographic questions a bit more specific.
Yeah, maybe I can look around and find some model of like what I'm picturing in my brain that I don't have in front of me.
That would be helpful.
Thank you.
Did folks have any other feedback on the survey?
I'm with Deb on this. I missed the last meeting that we had here, but can you just give me a quick reminder? So after we collect this data, what is the usage? Like why are we collecting it? And like what is our action item? Like how are we going to use the data? Are we going to make a recommendation? And maybe that will influence how we collect this data as well. But I agree with everything everyone said, but just wondering that.
Yeah, so I'm happy to explain it the way that I understand it. So with the updated ordinance for the Gender Equity Commission, there is we are legislatively mandated to create a 5-year action plan that addresses inequities within the city of Pittsburgh and makes recommendations of policies for the city to adopt to address them. This survey is kind of like the first approach at starting that 5-year plan process. I went back and listened to previous commission YouTube recordings preparing for this, and it seemed like there was a couple of different options thrown out, and this departmental survey was recommended as the best way to approach this. So I think after the responses are collected, we'll look at them together as a commission and kind of use them to steer the direction of what departments we might want to look at more closely and focus the work on for the 5-year action plan.
Gotcha. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I vote yes, whatever the motion is.
Okay, I'm happy to, I think we can do this, and Councilwoman, maybe you would know best here. Doing a vote to amend the question or a vote to approve the questions as amended. And then send it out in an email between now and the next meeting so everyone can see them. And then be good to send it out.
Yeah.
Is it the correct process?
When we vote to amend, we're voting on the final language. So if we just want to wait to vote on the final language, probably when we have the final language, maybe that's like when you vote to amend, you've literally made the change. Like you already have it's literally your finished versions in front of you. And then you discuss it. And then once you've amended, you don't change it again. So we might want to vote on it. Just be this looks good. We'll take a final vote on it next month if we're gonna, keep looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So if folks are comfortable doing that, I think we can still keep the momentum rolling, even though we don't do a final vote or a final amendment vote for them today. You could definitely still look at the department language and some other policies that we're working with. So we can revisit this next month to make the final to vote on the final amendment.
I have a quick question about just, I guess, protocol. So instead of waiting for next month in the spirit of expediting things, do we have to wait to a meeting? Can we, just asking in general, can we vote via email once the amendments are complete or the final document is complete so we can put it out as soon as possible? Say you have the draft or the final version ready next week and we can vote on a final version. Just wondering if that is protocol or we have to wait.
Yeah, so I believe that a formal vote has to happen on this live streamed meeting, like a public meeting. But I think that was the question that I was trying to get clarity on, if we could vote in advance of something, like conditional approval of the amendment, but it sounds like it would be best practice to wait until the final version is complete.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I agree with that too. So.
Okay, great. All right, and the last two things on the survey, I do think it's important that we have a deadline. So any suggestions on how long we should give departments to gather these responses? Or if we have an internal deadline for the 5-year action plan, if we want to have these responses.
Gross, what you think?
I am thinking both about how these conversations have been difficult in the past with departments, and that, you know, a couple of lifetimes ago, I did graduate level work on survey research methods. And what, you know, I think one of the things we should prepare ourselves for is that some departments don't respond, or they're going to say they can't answer some of these questions. And that maybe we just kind of mentally prepare ourselves that, like, since this is our first attempt, like maybe that's part of, you know, let's just mentally prepare ourselves for that, right? Because departments haven't been asked to report on these things quarterly. And I've like done other things like this, not even like gender disparity stuff. Like no one was keeping track of like LRTA tax abatements, right? And it took a while to get people to be able to report out on them, you know, vacant properties, things like that. Like it takes a while for departments to get in the groove of like, oh, we need this information. We're going to have it ready. Here's the rhythm of it. We know we're going to have to fill out this thing each year and it's going to be in March or whatever. So I think it's going to be, I mean, I could be wrong, but, you know, they may need some follow-up. So we could, I think, maybe set a first date, you know, of 6 weeks or something like that. But be prepared to, like, do they know this is coming, any of them? Like maybe we even kind of let them know, like, you'll be getting a survey, you know, in 4 weeks. And then it'll be due 6 weeks after that, like whatever those dates are. Like,
yeah, I think that's a good idea, especially if we haven't finalized the survey yet. Is there, like, can we email them like this week and like, hey, this survey, you will receive this survey by like a week after our next meeting. So you can, like, whatever is needed for it, like for the document. And then from there, we give them the due date, like Congressman Grist was saying. I think that's a great idea if we can email them now and then have it ready and everything for the, like, our meeting next month. And then we can just send it right out. So they're already aware and like it's immediately ready for them.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
it's possible, you know, that the mayor's office has already talked to each of the department new directors or something, and they know that it's coming. But since it isn't part of what they've been doing regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's been several months since departments have been given a heads up that this survey was coming, so I'm sure they've forgotten. Okay, so our next meeting is April 2nd, so 6 weeks. Okay. I want to say May 15th for the deadline. That sound good? And I can draft those emails and get them out to departments to let them know that this is going to be coming to them live the beginning of April and send them out next week.
You said May 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, but
Okay, great. And lastly, I think there was some attempt to try to get commissioners' city email addresses so you can easily access the the survey data. And I just wanted to ask if anyone has received their email addresses or if that's something that still has to be worked out.
I'm on the Gender Equity Commission, and we also asked for email addresses. And what Corey told us was that they need to lower the threshold of existing email addresses before adding any additional email addresses. So there will be some interim time before anyone, at least in the LGBTQIA Commission, I'm sorry if I misspoke, it said the Gender Equity, but the LGBTQIA Commission, there'll be some time before we get our emails.
I would like, I got a notification for like a with the city, and then when I got in there, there was like there was nothing in there, so I did message Stephanie about it before we had transitioned with you, Talia. Is it Talia?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, want to make sure. Thank you. So I did get like that email. I can send it to you so you know like what it looked like. And she never found out. There was nothing that was given to her to give to me like information like what that was. So I think I still have access unless they've taken it away. But I like signed in to it and everything. But there was nothing for me to like do in the system.
I didn't receive that email. I don't think anyway.
I also did not either. This is Sandra. I did not receive it as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Nicole, if you could send me the email just so I can forward it to our tech folks and get more of an answer on if this is possible and the timeline for that. If not,
yeah, absolutely.
We can always synthesize the data or the survey responses and I can share it out separately. It's not that big of a deal. All right. So I think that's it for the survey. So we can move on to unfinished business. So in the reproductive loss leave policy, just an update on this. I've looked at the existing policy that we have, and I'm going to, before our next meeting, draft some language changes for your review. So I'm hoping to have that at our April meeting. That way we can look at it together and see if any other changes need to be made. I think the best approach moving forward after we have the language solidified is to coordinate with HR, get a better understanding of potential budgetary impacts. And I did have the opportunity to connect with Avery this week to talk about the best way of engaging OMB on both of these policies, but specifically for the budgetary impacts regarding time off policies for employees. So we should have more to discuss on that next month. Moving on to item B, free menstrual products in city facilities. So I did get the chance to connect with Adriana as well, the former staffer for this commission, just to kind of get a better understanding on that deep dive that someone had mentioned last month that we did on city facilities. There wasn't an exact answer that I was able to come to. It seems like we still need to work with DPW on getting like an exact count for the inventory of city restrooms that exist. So that work still has to be kicked off. And this is where Corey Buckner and I, the staffer for the LGBTQIA Commission, have been talking a lot and working together to try to tackle this. That commission is also working on, and Julian, maybe you could speak to this too, single stall restroom legislation. So given that they're both related to restrooms, that larger undertaking of getting a complete inventory, we're trying to spearhead between the two commissions to try to get, at least a baseline. And then also moving forward on connecting with potential partners. So we do have, Corey and I have a meeting with Tamara Abney to discuss potential options for getting donations or how to price model the free products. There was apparently previous legislation a couple of years ago that was similar to this. So someone had looked into this possibility. So we're trying to revisit that, see if we can build upon it, and then continue meeting with relevant organizations in the area and potentially exploring grant opportunities as well. So if folks have any suggestions on good organizations to reach out to, good like other cities that you know that this is happening in that would be worth looking into, I would be very appreciative to help steer my direction here.
Talia, I actually have a former client who works in the commercial restroom space, and I believe they have a grant program for menstrual products in restrooms. I will connect with my contact there, and if that is a program that they still have available, I can make that.
That would be great. Thank you so much, Audra.
Yes, thank you. And then to my understanding, Tamara, and the previous conversations they were having with the mayor's office was that they were going to donate a massive amount, like for it to start up whatever bathroom that we wanted. There was menstrual products that they had in inventory to start us out. And so I don't know if that would be a continue, like your conversation would continue that endeavor. But an update on the bathrooms, we do have an update on that. And like new construction, we're talking about what it looks like for us to not so much delegate single stall for each bathroom, but like how can we degender each bathroom to the best of our ability with signage and other things like that. So we're coming to a little bit of a compromise in some aspects of just the new construction aspect of like pipes and stuff like that, and making sure that each bathroom only has one toilet or like is a one stall bathroom was difficult to manage. So we're coming up with like a little bit of an alternative.
Great. Thank you, Julian. Yeah, and to build off of that, I guess this would kind of be considered new business, but something else that Corey and I had talked about is forming a working group with city employees who currently sit on both the Gender Equity and LGBTQIA plus commission, just to collaborate more on tackling these policy advancements, given that we're both it's a large undertaking and they're both somewhat related. We think it would be helpful to pool resources here and try to advance them as quickly as possible. So if that applies to you, be on the lookout for an email from me very soon to try to get something scheduled between the two commissions.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Does anyone have any other new business or announcements that they would like to share?
I do. Did anybody hear about the Saturday, March 21st, the Pitt University Building Power for Gender and Racial Justice event? It's the Human Rights City Alliance with Pittsburgh, with the Sisters Lifting As We Climb. I asked them to get in touch with Devin to sit on a panel to represent the Gender Equity Commission. Devin, have you heard from anybody?
Terry, is that the Housing Justice Summit on March 28th, or is it something
21st.
else?
This is on the 21st.
It's not Jackie Smith and the kind of housing justice,
it's Jackie Smith is on here. Jackie Smith is involved.
I have it. What are you looking at? Because I've got it down on my calendar. I was supposed to do a panel, I think. Or let me check my emails too.
So I was trying to put it in the chat, but I don't see a chat part. But I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Human Rights City Alliance, along with its community partners, including Pittsburgh CEDAW, the Sisters Lifting As We Climb Network, the Pittsburgh Gender Equity Commission, the University of Pittsburgh Center for Race and Social Problems, would like to invite you to participate in Building Power for Gender and Racial Justice in Pittsburgh, an event honoring Women's History Month and the International Day for the elimination of racial discrimination held on Saturday, March 21st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in room 2017 at the Cathedral of Learning on the University of Pittsburgh's campus.
Okay, no, this is like two different things because I've definitely got a new email, and there's also the human rights, like Housing is the Human Right people, and Jackie doing the Housing Justice Summit on the March 28th. So I do not have any information about the one on the 21st. Sorry.
Yeah, so the 21st is Rep. Lindsay Powell is on a panel discussion on Family Care Act. I'll put this in the email, everybody.
Thank you.
And my phone is actually probably going to die. I had a lot of meetings at work today. So I just wanted to say I will email my events out to Talia and then in the group, so that way everyone has them with the autonomous body shop van, the abortion reproductive van that goes around the city.
Cool.
Great. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate it. Any other?
I had a point that I wanted to bring up for discussion for the committee. I'm not a healthcare access expert, but I know I'm sure there's somebody on the committee that has that level of expertise. But from this committee's point of view, I think under our purview, making a statement or a letter to UPMC regarding their stopping of healthcare for trans youth. It's from what I've seen and what folks have told me who are in this experience. It's been incredibly troubling. It's been incredibly disruptive. And to me, as the Gender Equity Commission of the city of Pittsburgh, I feel like it might be incumbent on us to form a point of view on that and potentially send a letter to UPMC or state our point of view publicly.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. The LGBTQIA Commission put out a statement for our position as well, but I think that the Gender Equity Commission, it would just be a stronger position from the city standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe what we could do is take the LGBTQIA Commission statement, and evolve that using, from a gender equity lens, and be able to put that out. To me, it's just something that makes a lot of sense from our point of view.
Yeah.
Julian, is that where could I find that statement? Do you know?
All of our statements are published on the city page. So if you go to our page on the city, then yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm happy to get that teed up for folks. And then I can circulate it via email to you all as well.
And that before my phone dies, I did have one more thing. I currently work with Allegheny Health Network in one of their OB-GYN offices, and my office does have the mobile van that goes around to different neighborhoods and offers OB-GYN care in the fields. So we can do exams, lab testing, we can take jaw blood and everything like that. And I feel like it might be helpful if we as a commission let AHN know that we would be able to help them with marketing or anything like that, just to get the word out, because I do think it's a great service that we can provide to people. We literally just go park in a parking lot in the neighborhood, and we set people up. They can do walk-ins. We can do annual exams for GYN care, anything like that. So I feel like if we push them to be able to kind of do more marketing for them, we might be able to get more people seen for routine care. in a more holistic way for people.
Oh, would love that on the West.
I know. I literally just said that to one of the leaders of the van today. I was like, I'd never see, like, there's no dates for the West Side. It's always like there's Braddock, McKeesport, we go to Clariton, and I want to say there's one more neighborhood that we go to, but none of them are on the West.
Oh, well, I'm going to email you to see what we need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that could be a great idea. If you have like an idea of what that marketing would look like, do you envision that like sharing it on the city channels, like our social media channels?
The city's channel, just so that like people know where we're going to be, because we do take walk-ins, and so like people come in for like STI testing, stuff like that. So like I think it's so important that if for our committee or commission to like kind of support that for the healthcare of the city.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
In order to start that, would you like a communication to come from the Gender Equity Commission email, or do you need anything from us formally to offer those services?
I think it would be helpful to come from the Gender Equity email, so I can get I have to get the direct email for the lead marketing person, and then once I get that, I think if we were able to email them directly, like, hey, we are able to help, we're here for this kind of services, and then we can just kind of bridge it that way.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Great. All right, anything else for the good of the order?
I moved the meeting.
Okay, do we get a second?
Second.
Okay, third.
Great. Well, this meeting is adjourned.